More of the Betrice Berry Show right after this. We're back talking with new generation of Manson followers, people who say that Manson is a leader, a role model. The reason for doing this show is that a lot of these people, you know, you all are cheering, you may not have even been born when this happened in '69. You're not aware of it, and our reason for doing this is to make people aware that there are a lot of people who are saying Manson is a great leader, he's a role model. I asked you a question earlier, Blue, why the murder?
In the context of the 60s, killing or violence was not unusual. As I said, the music was singing it, etc. We also were involved in a war in Vietnam at that time. Every day we saw body bags. You know, the sons of America were being sent to kill in a war, and to, you know, we saw the victims of the Vietnam War.
Lou, this is why this is so frightening to me.
We showed America violence in their own bedroom, in their own houses, and we said, this is where the country is headed. We are your children. We are doing what you have taught us to do. This is so frightening
to me, because you respond to this global violence that you see as heinous with more violence.
We middle-class children came from. We did what TV taught us to do. We did
what you can't believe. That's why you have to put it on Manson.
That's why
you can't believe it came out of your own houses.
America's children are not going for the same old putting money over life.
I want to ask Sandra a question, but before I do, I think it should be made clear, I personally have no evidence that she herself has participated in any of the Manson murders.
I'll take responsibility for all of it.
Okay, but I mean, I have no evidence that you yourself actually participated. But I want to ask you this question. Do you consider yourself a peace-loving person?
Yes.
You consider yourself peace-loving?
Yeah.
Okay, wait a while. No, wait a while. All right, now wait a while.
And the water and making war on people in El Salvador, destroying Africa, destroying the world for money.
Well, it's hard to get a word in edgewise there.
You know, I agree that all this destruction exists, but my response is not to go slice somebody up.
When you're at war, you be a better person.
My response to war
all the
is
time.
to try to make people aware of it, to try to make people know that it needs to end.
You go to war and you be better than the person you're against.
Vincent, yes.
Well, there is blood.
You don't make change without
I would like for Vincent to speak here, please.
She said she considers herself peace-loving, and I'd like to read a quote. It's an excerpt from a film, and here's what Sandra Good says. Whatever is necessary, you do it. When somebody needs to be killed, there's no wrong. You do it, and then you move on. And you pick up a child, and you move him to the desert. You pick up as many children as you can, and you kill whoever gets in your way. That is us. She just said she was peace-loving, and yet she says if someone gets in her way...
Yourself.
That's not self-defense.
You
that's
look
not
out for yourself.
That's not self-defense. That's called murder.
Vincent, what was the theory of helter-skelter? What was that about?
The theory of helter-skelter is that Manson was trying to ignite a race war between blacks and whites. And he thought by killing these people and framing the black man, it would turn the white community against the black community. There'd be this all-out war, which he called helter-skelter.
So he caused the L.A. riots in Watts, right?
He said that during the war, he was going to take his family to the bottomless pit in the desert, a place he derived from Revelation 9. He says, we're going to grow to a size of 144,000 people, the 12 tribes of Israel referred to in Revelation 7. He said the black man was going to win this war. It was their karma. It was their turn to take over. They'd been stepped on by the white man for centuries. But he said the black man would never know how to handle the reins of power because he said Blackie only knows what Whitey's told him to do. So he said they'd have to turn over the reins of power to those white people who had survived helter-skelter, i.e. Charles Manson and his family, that he said, we'll come out of the bottomless pit, and quoting Manson, we'll send Blackie on his way to picking cotton, and we'll take over the leadership of the world.
That's a fantasy. You would have to be psychotic to believe that. None of those people were judged psychotic.
This is what he told his killers. No, this is what he told his killers.
They might have been kicking that fantasy around at the ranch.
These are the people that killed for him. You weren't around, George. These are the people that killed for him.
They killed for themselves.
They didn't do anything unless he
How do you know this?
He didn't permit them to do anything unless he knew about it and gave his consent.
I'll tell you something. No, that's not true. I'll tell you something else. I just heard a tape of the recent parole hearing for Bruce Davis, and he said you might have done a good job. The representative from the DA's office at that hearing said you might have done a good job of selling the helter-skelter motive to the jury, but that nobody in the DA's office believed that.
No, that just came out.
Excuse me, I don't understand how you two can sit up on the stage and you 3 or 4 or whatever back there can sit here and try and convince a whole audience and a whole audience out there, viewers, excuse me, that we're naive and that we're wrong, you know, after all these people have been living for centuries, you know, following these beliefs, you know. Granted, the world is not a perfect place. But when your beliefs infringe on somebody else's rights or lives, then you're wrong.
They don't. My beliefs don't. My beliefs don't infringe on anybody's rights.
In a minute, you're going to meet some other people who come out and say Manson is a role model, that we should listen to him based on what?
I was with him since 1968, before the murders and after the murders. I'm a very strong-willed person. I would not be with a person who tried to take my will or who was taking anybody's will.
See, but this is what this man is responding to. He's saying that it's personal. He doesn't understand what it is we should listen to.
Either you get in the will of life, and that's Atwa. That's saving your trees, your water, or you're in the will of death and you die. That's all there is to it. Lines have been drawn.
I want to give you an example of the mesmerization in the Manson family. When I first met Sandra, she was up in Independence, and she was with Squeaky. And I met him out in the... Yeah, and I was out they were out in the street, and I said I wanted to talk to them at the DA's office. And they said, well, if you bring some candy, okay, I'll talk to you. Anyway, Sandra told me that out in the desert once, Manson picked up a dead bird, breathed on it, and the bird flew away. That's the state of mind of the people in the Manson family. They were slavishly obedient to him. I want to give you one footnote to the helter-skelter thing. This is the philosophy that he instilled into the killers to work them up into an emotional lather so they were willing to kill for him. And they bought it. They bought it hook, line, and sinker.
They killed to love a brother. They killed to get a brother out of jail.
Manson may not have believed in it. Manson may not have believed in it wholly himself. There were 2 other motivations that Manson had. One was passion and lust for murder. That was his religion. That was his credo. The second reason, he has an enormous amount of hostility towards society, against the establishment. And on these two nights of murder, he was viciously striking out at the establishment and using his minions to vent his spleen on society.
I'd like to say something. Why did my sister have to pay for it?
She shouldn't have been in Hollywood,
Why my sister? Why all of them? Why do we have to pay for this?
I'll talk to you about that.
My sister was a good person.
Hollywood is a hellish
and the thing is, the fact is that these people are murderers, and we have to protect ourselves from these type of people so they don't go out and kill more of us.
Charlie's not a murderer.
And that's
Charlie's not a murderer.
In prison.
You know, Manson did not kill anyone, and he did not...
But you're saying that because she was in Hollywood, and Hollywood is a hellish place, she had to die?
No, here's the thing. When you're in Hollywood, when you're a woman and you put yourself in that milieu, your body is being exploited, your face is being... You're being literally sold. You're being sold for money. You're being used for money. Where is the concern that women in Hollywood, their image, are shown for the... What I'm telling you, what I told you before, if you'd open your mind, we were at war with society, but the main catalyst for those killings was to get a brother out of jail, and I cannot reiterate enough.
My family had to pay for it?
Look, in war, people die, Patty, and I'll talk to you about that as long as you want to talk to, and I'll tell you why.
You sit there and you talk about us, watching our kids come home in bags. So therefore, that meant that I had to watch my sister be rolled out of her house in a bag too, with her belly out of here. So you don't kill. You get out there and you do the positive thing. The positive thing is that's helping one another and doing the best, helping our environment and taking the courage to get out there and taking care of our kids.
Then look out for Charlie because he didn't kill your sister.
Keeping people in prison that are out to do us harm so they can't make more victims.
What about an innocent man who's been held down for 25 years so he could make millions of dollars? And movie
He's alive, isn't he? My sister.
He's been in a cage in hell for 25 years. He did not kill your sister, Patty, and he did not order your sister to be killed.
When they talk about cleaning up the environment, here's what they meant. One member of the Manson family after the murders said, all we did was kill 7 pigs and help clean up the air over Los Angeles.
No,
that's what they're talking about when they're talking about cleaning up the environment.
Pat Krenwinkel said that's 7 less cars to pollute, if you want to get
No, I'm not talking about Krenwinkel.
We're going to take a break right here, come back. You're going to meet a bunch of young people who say that this stuff is right, that Manson is a role model, and we want to ask the questions about this whole race war and the racism that involves with this movement as well. This is something that we should all be watching out for, so stay with us.